So, Dr. Lucey, I'd like to thank you and your outstanding education team. I know that this has been a very intense past 2 years, and I want to thank you for ensuring that the School of Medicine received full accreditation from the LCME until 2026. Can we start by having you explain what is LCME accreditation and why is it important?
The LCME stands for the Liaison Committee on Medical Education, and it is the accrediting body for all allopathic medical schools in the United States and Canada. The LCME accreditation is technically optional. Medical schools can choose not to be accredited by the LCME. However, there's a catch. If they're not accredited by the LCME, those schools are ineligible for federal funding. And so when you think about the possibility of running a medical school without NIH funding and without scholarship support from the federal government for the students, it's pretty clear that it is actually mandatory for successful medical schools.
Will you discuss the intensity of this process and why it's so intense?
The LCME process is designed to be intense, and it's because it covers every aspect of a medical school. It isn't just about the educational program of the medical school. It looks at things as essential as do the leaders of the medical school on the campus have the authority to make important decisions, and are they free from conflict from outside bodies or boards or things like that? It looks at the resources of the institution. It checks to make sure that there's an appropriate scholarly environment so that students are being taught by faculty with recognized expertise in multiple different disciplines. It asks us to talk about all of the publications that we have had and to document the number of grant dollars that we are using to advance science as a key element to the academic environment our students participate in. And then it looks at the world through the students' eyes. I was personally, though, amazed and grateful at the way in which our faculty, our chairs, our students, our residents all really worked hard to make sure that the site visitors got an accurate and really positive view of UCSF as a medical school.
Did they identify our strengths and our weaknesses?
There were some important areas that we need to work on, and we'll need the help of the UCSF community writ large to work on these. The first was a commitment to making sure that we are fully able to optimize a continuous quality improvement process. And the two things that led to a concern about this were the fact that we have struggled a lot to make sure that our departments get their grades in on time and that all students have 100% access to every clinical experience that we think is essential for their growth. We've made a lot of strides in this over the past couple of years. You can imagine how hard it is for our faculty and residents who are supervising our students to keep track not only of the patients they're taking care of, but the extent to which they've checked off all the boxes and made sure that they've given the feedback to the students that they need to improve. So we have an action team working now to think about how do we address the issues the LCME raised in a way that also respects the time constraints that faculty and students have, and faculty and residents have, and the need for students have for feedback. A second issue was on ensuring that the recent improvements we've made in career advising are sustainable and impactful. And the third issue is continuing to improve, as you might sort of shrug, grimace at this, the space that our students have. Space is not only a problem for faculty, but it's a problem for learners as well, and in particularly looking for spaces that enable them at all of our clinical affiliates to have secure storage space for their belongings, but more importantly, to have relaxation and study space. And so we are working with the student team now to sort of figure out what is the best that we can do for this to make sure that their needs are met. What did it mean to you going through this? This is the first one you've done as a dean.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think the main thing I learned is that medical education is complex. We've known that all along. It's gotten a lot more complex. But I also had reinforced how outstanding our students, our faculty, and our staff are. This gave us an opportunity to show that to ourselves and to the committee. And I also I participated in the briefing and debriefing sessions in the green room. And it was really a lot of fun to sit there and watch the collaborative spirit of the people on all the teams and the seriousness with which they took their job. They really, really wanted to perform well and to make sure the school was the best it could possibly be. And so seeing them work together in this way was a very emotionally pleasing event for me, and it reinforced the fact that UCSF, in my mind, is an excellent medical school that can get better. We're working to get better, but that we are staffed by outstanding people who are committed to medical education. And I'd like to thank, again, you and your staff for an outstanding accreditation performance, and thank the students for the work that they've done, and the faculty for their continued support of our students. So thank you all very much.
Thank you, Talmadge.